We go into this mono green versus mono green matchup. Two teammates who have tested together, explored the format together with a group of other people, and now it comes down to who can maneuver this final match better. Remy on the play.
Yeah, Remy on the play after taking the first seed. And we see Louis having a mulligan to 6. Whoops. Moto just doing moto things.
Knock on wood, we just need to make it through this last match.
Yes.
As players continuing to build up their mana, a couple of Llanowar elves on Louis' side and a couple of mana elves on Remy's side, but that Elvish Clan Caller coming down to make use of the extra resources for Louis.
Yeah. I mean, normally I have 2 deck lists open when we do this, but I've just chosen to open 1. It is the 75 card mirror we're watching here. And after the interview with Remy, it's just, you have to hand it to these two. It's an absolute workhorse victory.
Yeah, I mean,
They
it
did
sounds like they
not
really put
leave
in a
a
lot of
stone
work.
unturned. Yeah, they did not leave a stone unturned. They went through so many decks, testing, tweaking, theory crafting, and honestly, this finals, I know for those two guys, they're really fighting for a trophy and the honor, and I assume as well bragging rights. But for the rest of us, it's honestly just their victory lap of really showcasing how well they built their deck this time around.
Green Sun Zenith fetches a Sea Leaf champion.
And Lanoil is preparing for more mana development down the road. Do we see a Vengefine here? Now this looks more like a Green Sun Zenith.
Remy pointing to the root snare as one of the keys to this matchup, but we're in game 1, so that means there's no root snares in yet. So
Yeah.
this clan caller does seem like it could be a major advantage, but Louis not quite on enough mana to activate it yet.
Might get there soon. And there's this whole, was Steel Leaf Champion the correct thing to Green Sun Zenith for? I think it was because Remy found a Steel Leaf Champion, you need to sort of match him pound for pound. But you really want to get these clan callers going, or this clan caller going.
Yeah,
Rather.
well, as you mentioned, this is a workhorse team, which means I would stand to wager that they know exactly what they need to do in this situation. And if they think it's Steel
Exactly.
Leaf Champion, uh,
Yeah, that's my point exactly. You can have the debate, but these two have played this deck more than any other in this event, including you and I. And I imagine that, as I said, they Louis debating that he needs to match what's happening on the other side of the board so he doesn't get too far behind.
mhm.
Because obviously, Clan Caller finding Clan Caller is one of the ways you pull ahead. But if you're spending all your time doing that and your opponent just develops more efficient threats, then even though you might get ahead, you'll have used too much of your life total as a resource, and you will be unable to win the race.
Aspect of Hydra could be another key reason to get Steel Leaf Champion there, just wanting to power up that aspect of Hydra
Oh,
so that any creature that gets through becomes lethal.
that is true. That is a massive thing.
Here we see another Steel Leaf Champion grab. So uh, players signaling that actually Elfish Chin Clan Color is not the key to this matchup.
It's just too slow. Do we see an aspect here? Will both players have an aspect? Well, then Remy wins still. It's an aspect of the Hydra here. And Louis is just, I think, calculating that he's not going to be an aspect either way. Louis
Pretty
falling
big,
behind on board here.
pretty big tempo advantage there to just be able to aspect of Hydra that Steel Leaf.
Yeah. And now we see why they're only playing 2 Vengevines, because this Vengevine looks, to be honest, a little bit
A
silly.
little sad. Attacking for 4 is not going to get the job done on this board. And it will block a Steel Leaf champion as long as nothing happens to make that Steel Leaf champion any scarier than it is right now.
And that would be either an Elrish Clan Caller or an aspect of the Hydra. You know, there's only 7 cards left in the deck that can do that. And if Elvish Clan Caller comes down, then we're also looking at Remy being able to fling some Colony Hydra out there. He seems to really be quite far ahead right now.
Remy in the tank, trying to figure out how he's going to maneuver this turn.
Yeah, I think Remy honestly is not only planning this turn, but planning what does it look like until I've won the game. Because as we saw earlier, like a mistake or a not even necessarily a mistake, but just an inaccuracy or a miscalculation on turn 5 can compound and be massive 2, 3, 4, 14 turns down the line. I don't think this game will last this long, but they
Yeah, I
can
mean,
really compound.
you don't expect this deck being so aggressive to go long, but when it's a ground pounding deck against a ground pounding deck, sometimes you can get into those situations where the game becomes about a Vivian ultimate. So deciding how aggressive you need to be to end the game, or deciding if it's better to be defensive and build towards a long game strategy, can be really important. And seems like a pivotal turn to make that kind of decision.
Yes, exactly. Both of these players are Pro Tour caliber players. Uh, as Remy said, they tested together for PTs in the past, so they know how that the most important time to really tank is when you're ahead as well, because you have to really consider, all right, what does it look like if I lose this game?
Remy
Okay,
pushing in, going aggressive here, deciding he has enough of an advantage that can afford to trade a Steel Leaf, or has an aspect in which case this all becomes fairly.
well, Louis could have another creature in hand, likely has another creature in hand, and can draw another creature. So just Vengevine can come back and trade with the other. Oh, we're aspecting there.
That's
There
a
you go.
big chunk of damage.
Take 15.
And that may have been some of the source of debate is, do I just need to 15 my opponent, or will they still be alive after that? You see the Reclamation Sage came down as well that turn to just add one more to that aspect of Hydra and add one more chump attacker next turn as we kind of move forward. And now the Steel Leaf Champion is pretty tough to block, although
Yeah.
Elvish Clan Caller does pump the
Uh,
Tree Speaker up enough.
yeah, but if Remy just goes right click attack with all, Louis has to tap his Lano Elves to activate Clan Caller
Mm-hmm.
before he can even
Leaving
block
him with only
Steel Leaf.
one blocker, the Tree Speaker, and then
Yeah,
the
and
Druids,
then
Llanowar
there's
Elves, and that Reclamation Sage that destroyed
the
nothing
the
will.
chaff. The chaff takes care of the rest 5. That's really beautiful. Because I want to go ahead to the previous turn when Remy tanked for minutes, and I am certain that he made the decision to which creature he wanted to pump with Aspect of the Hydra
Hmm.
before he attacked, before he even played his reclamation stage. He had already planned out that, all right, if this happens after us, so all right, Louis will have 2 cards. Will they be creature, then Ventron will be back? How do I win then? Will they be creature land or whatever? How will I win if it's all these different combinations? And now he's just going over, all right, so what have I missed? Why has Louis not gone right click concede
Yeah,
yet?
Louis with
Have I
0
missed?
cards in hand, so he's not hiding anything, right?
Yeah. Did I miscalculate? Yeah, right click, attack with all.
Yep.
You see, it just doesn't work out because these land elves has to tap.
And
We see the
that's
concession. So now we're going to the sideboard, and yeah, Remy said a bit himself. Root Snare is going to be impactful, and I would have a very hard time imagining that we will not also see Rabbit Bite. And then he hinted us to that there may be um, some secrets. Um, are we looking into that the play on the draw would try to go bigger, have the fourth Vivian, maybe even Karn and the fourth all the Vengevines, and try to just beef it up? I think Vengevine is still too anemic, but will we see some weird stuff? Will we see Thrun? Will one of the will the play draw dynamic here be really impactful? Will we see one player sideboarding in a vastly different way than the other? Like I'm really hoping for it. That makes it much more exciting. Um,
Yeah, I mean, Vivian Reed we've seen be very powerful, and is it that one player wants to take that posture and the other player wants to be Aspect of Hydra and just try and go for the kill? We saw Remy on the play that game playing aggressively and using those aspects to using his Green Sun Zeniths to pump up his pips, using his Aspect of Hydra to get in extra damage, and just squeaking that last point in. And it really points to why a card like Root Snare could be really valuable, because if you're spending actual resources for damage, if you're using that Aspect of Hydra just to get that Alpha Strike to be worth it, and all of a sudden your opponent fogs, well, not only have you spent all of those resources, but you're also going to take a lot of damage on that attack back.
yeah, definitely. That's that whole temper swing that there is in the Root Snare. I can definitely see that that's a concession to the mirror.
Uh,
Uh,
it makes you wonder how the players will change their gameplay patterns, knowing that Root Snare is a possibility. Can you afford to play the way that Remy played that first game and just force your opponent to have the Root Snare when you might be opening yourself up to losing the game on the spot if they do have it?
yeah, I don't think we will see that kind of plays as we see here. I think we're going to see a much more uh, in chess I refer to it as like a positional game
Mm-hmm.
where they're trying to force that root snare out of hand, like trying to get to a position where they can force the other player to use the root snare without exposing themselves to too much. And it's going to be a bit of a dance here. We're back to, I imagine, some kind of line dance, but this underneath you are spikes, and the spikes are on fire, and you're covered in gasoline. It's
Absolutely.
Is this a one-lander from Remy? It's a one-lander from Remy. That cannot have been an easy decision for him.
4 mana. Paying costs. Is this a Grand Sun Zenith?
Yeah, and I imagine we'll see Steel Leaf champion here. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, yeah. Louis is smelling blood. There's blood in the water here. He's looking at a wounded admiral. Remy is. He's not down for the count, but he is hurting, and he has the second
He
land. He
did hit
gets
the
there.
land. But the presence again of that root snare does mean that you now in this position, Louis doesn't have a lot to fear, but he's also a couple turns away from taking Remy all the way out. And if Remy can just develop his board enough to where threatening that root snare forces Louis to just take his foot off the gas a little bit, he can kind of crawl his way back into this game, even though he missed that second land drop.
Completely agree. Completely agree. It's only a one miss land drop. Do you know what that one miss land drop means? Now Remy has 6 spells in hand. His 4 mana available. It is not at all over, and he's building his mana even more. Is this a clan caller? Yes, it's a clan caller. I was thinking of it like Lano Elves, Druid of the Call, Druid of the Call. This looks like a clan caller game. Steel Leaf Champion can, without a care in the world, just waltz in and smack Remy for 5. But something is it's a miss because it's not nothing over on the other side of the ball. It looks like, a sorted draft chaff and then an Elvish clan caller, but all that sorted draft chaff is elves.
Steel Leaf getting in right away. We're not going to see a super aggressive aspect here. Still a little too early for that. But the second Steel Leaf does come down, and now an aspect is really frightening.
Yeah, now Louis is about to ask that question: do you have the root snare? And I think we will not see Aspect of the Hydra being used as a burn spell, not to the face at least. We'll be seeing it being used to twist combat.
To keep those Steel Leaves alive and attacking.
Yeah.
Remy hitting another land here. Up to 6, a key number for the clan caller, although it is tricky to tap all of your lands and all of your creatures to use that ability.
Yeah.
And we see the Steel Leaf champion come down on his side.
And another
clearly both players have decided that this is a very important card in the matchup. And now you can see that one land keep starts to look pretty good. Beautiful. Because you can recognize if this is the most important card in the matchup, I just need one thing to go right, and I'm in very good position.
It's a bold key from Remy, but you cannot sit down with for a match of Magic thinking I will play in a way that will assure me the win 100%. You have to take risks, whether you recognize it or not. And the dangerous risks you take are those you don't recognize the risks. So being able to realize what kind of risk you're taking and how to handle those risks and mitigate them is a massive, massive boon for your growth as a Magic player. This is where I want to see Aspect of the Hydra for Louis. I want to see it spent to, eke out some things in combat. We could also just see double Rabbit Bite, get rid of the Steel Leaf champions, swing in for 10, your go, have fun, good luck.
Now it's Louis' turn to take his time and consider what a winning line looks like, what a winning board state looks like. What is the level of aggression that we're going to take here?
Yeah.
How do we...
Not only we are going for more Steel Leaf champion, and this screams Aspect of the Hydra to me. Remy kind of has to block.
I mean, any of these Steel Leafs getting through is a huge damage shift. Now, Remy is tapped out, so Louis really has an opportunity here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely what I was expecting Louis to do. To have that Aspect of the Hydra, just to make sure his Steel Leaf champion survives. It's basically a 1-mana Steel Leaf champion. Now the question is, what is the last card in Louis's hand?
I think we can
And
safely assume it's not a second aspect of Hydra because we would have seen the other Steel Leaf get saved.
would we?
I guess suppose he
We
doesn't
probably
need
would.
to. You're right.
Yeah, I think it might be better to keep in hand for one more turn because Remy is yet to present just one blocker for this Steel Leaf champion.
That being said, he would have had a 3-0 advantage on the Steel Leaf champions, which is
True.
significant.
It's very unlikely to be aspect of the Hydra, but I can see a world where Louis is a bit greedy with it, saying, "All right, then I use one now and the other one to finish him off next turn." But this second in-hand clan caller
That's
ruins
big.
his day.
Now all of those creatures can block.
Yes. Is there another one? Is it the Steel Leaf champion again?
Are
Is
we
it
going to
green
see
stuns
trips
for...
Steel Leafs out of
It's
both?
Kalni Hydra.
And that, my friend, is a lot of green pips.
That is all the green pips.
There are none left.
Well, there were two for Vivian Reed, but that's about it.
Vivian coming down does put a little pressure on Remy. He does have to find a way to start attacking. Probably not too far away from that given his clan caller advantage here. I mean, that
Yeah,
Hydra.
we can just see Kalni Hydra attack Vivian Reed here. If he wants Vivian to survive, he more or less needs to block with Abela Galta. That's yeah, my French is not up to par there. I run out of just about bonjour and parlez-vous anglais, and
And
that's
I will do the French the service of not attempting to speak their language because no one needs to hear that.
yeah, I probably insulted someone by doing that. Yeah, that was
Call
the
me
attack I was
coming
talking
in,
about.
and I mean it's a rough position to try and block from if you don't have that aspect of Hydra in hand here.
We know that the card Louis has is Vengevine. It was revealed of a Vivian.
Ah, okay.
So what do you do here? Do you just, all right, Vivian is dead? That's the less risky play on the face of it, but how do you win then? Can you even beat an aspect of the Hydra? Is it just Steel Leaf Champion and Steel Leaf Champion double pounding that Hydra? Then you have Dirt of the Cowl versus all of that chaff over there, plus your Vivian.
So
Is that a winning position?
you're gonna have next turn Avengevine in play, and hopefully you can deploy maybe a Druid of your own. But you know, if Louis loses the ability to put pressure on Remy's life total, then these clan callers do start to just get more clan callers.
Yeah. But can Louis win this game without Vivian? And that's what he's debating with himself now. He is debating with himself, his gods, his mentors, his ancestors.
And he
And he's like,
decides, nope, I need this
cannot
Vivian
win
in
this.
play, and I need this Colony Hydra out of play.
And there was no aspect of a Hydra, and Louis is like rewarded, but
As happy as he
it's
can be, I mean, that was the best case scenario given that block, right?
there's there's
What's the follow up to
it's
that attack going to be?
it's the best case scenario, but the best case scenario isn't very good.
A
It's
Vivian of
his
his
own
own,
Vivian.
and that is good.
That is a disaster for Louis. Y'all might we might be done in time for y'all to catch the Super Bowl.
I think we have plenty of time for that.
I have no idea when it starts. I'm planning to be asleep.
The
Jordan
American
Free speaking.
Football
Thanks, East
Championship isn't a
Bank.
big deal in Denmark for you?
I mean, if it was not on a Sunday and not in the middle of the night, like I have to be at work tomorrow. Like if it was yesterday, I might have watched it.
You can't watch the Super Bowl the day before the Set Roulette event. Come on. Vengevine getting in, getting aggressive. Coming right at that Vivian. Saying, I know
Yeah,
you don't want to block with
but
your clan colors.
will he block with Tree Speaker?
I mean,
Running the risk that it's like we know one of the cards in Lewis's hand is the Druid of the Cowl. Is the other one a 1-drop?
if he doesn't block, he just can take out the opposing Vivian pretty easily from this position, though, right? So
Well, what if one of the cards is Root Snare?
there it is. That question that we asked ourselves at the beginning of this game is how will Root Snare affect the way we play combat?
Yeah,
But
it's not
it's
Root
not
Snare.
Root Snare. So Remy's Vivian still has loyalty.
Yes.
Will Louis end the turn with a Vivian that has loyalty?
I mean, it's known info. Louis has Druid of the Cowl. We know that. So Remy can just willy-nilly, more or less, attack to get Vivian dead. I think there exists an attack where Vivian gets dead, but that might run the risk of losing a clan caller, and that is probably less interesting to Remy. He's pondering some choices here.
I mean, certainly, he can make some pretty strong attacks without risking his own clan colors and while still protecting his own Vivian.
He finds a clan caller.
And that's just a
Now
real
the clan
hammer.
callers can attack. It's just right click attack all Vivian.
Is it right click attack
Or
all?
it could be that's right click attack all Louis as well. And maybe we see some
Well, if
splits.
if you see an aspect of Hydra, then but no, we're gonna take out that Vivian. You're not gonna win this Vivian war while I have clan colors.
Yeah, this really panned out well for Remy. Missing his second land drop, but only one time.
Mm. And he really only needed to draw that one land to recover from.
Yeah, he probably calculated that, all right, can I still win the game if I miss it one time? Decided, yes, I can do that. Then he must have all calculated, can I still win if I miss it twice? And he
Ugh.
has probably considered that that would be a close game because his hand was so strong. Okay, so we
Second
see a
Vivian
follow-up
coming
Vivian
down,
here. But it's not
but
another Vivian. Louise needs board presence. Another Elvis Clan caller is all fine and good, but like we have
but
a
he's in the
Vengevine that
same
can block the
situation
two.
that he was in, right? Where this Vivian is just going to get attacked again, and the blocks
Yes.
still aren't good, and Vivian is continuing to give Remy more advantage on the other side. Uh,
There's the thing. If Louise manages to turn this around, the game is not over yet, and he wins this game, ties up the match. Look at the clocks. Remy is at half of Louis's time. That could become a factor if this turn goes to a game three. I don't think a game three is in any of Remy's plans at this point. He's just using this time. He
yeah,
needs to make sure he makes the best decisions he can given the
he's
information he has.
clearly in the driver's seat of this game. He has
Yes.
more cards on board. He has more cards in hand. If he at any point finds an aspect of Hydra, the game seems that like it's just over. Um, Vivian, I mean, there's so many good hits for him.
Yeah,
This opposing Vivian is not going to survive the turn, right? So
I assume not. I mean, if the opposing Vivian survives the turn, that is Remy's choice.
Right.
It is completely living on Remy's mercy. He finds a forest. This was a choice. He chose to find forest. Green Suns for 2. That's the last clan caller, I believe.
Yep.
Yes.
There it is.
We
All
are
4
looking
clan
at some...
colors in play and never activated once.
Nope.
Are
Is
we
this face?
Are we face?
We are face. Is the blocks there?
And does that
There's
mean that we
one
have an
green man only.
aspect? The shields are
I
down on the root snare,
believe
so
this is all it comes down to.
and even if he doesn't have it,
Just
it
to...
forces a horrible block for Louis just to survive the turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
Remy is like, yeah, sure, you get another Vivian activation. What you gonna do with it?
he could ultimate Vivian, it still wouldn't be enough, right? I mean,
Yeah.
he's going to need runner root snares, build his board back up with Vivian, and Remy somehow misses his draw steps and his Vivian activations. And I still don't
Yeah.
know if it's...
Well, Vengevine comes back now.
That does help. That does help. And Clan Caller is a good hit here.
Yes.
But his creatures are just smaller.
So tiny. Yeah, Vengevine attacks Vivian because
Sure. But Vivian's not the problem anymore, right? I mean, you don't even have to care about this Vivian.
Vivian is also a problem.
Now, a root snare means you don't die this turn.
This last card has to be Rune Snare. And the next card also has to be Rune Snare. So this is where we're not going to see Remy just blindly go right-click attack with all. We're going to see Remy attack with exactly the amount needed to trigger the Rune Snare.
Which, in this case, is not going to be much.
No, it's not.
Tree Speaker coming in off the Vivian here.
Yeah, you just see your casual 1-mana 3/3.
Wild Nikadal was banned in Modern.
Thanks for reminding me. Remy is still trying to think, what does it look like if I lose?
Well, knowing that the root snare has to come out this turn for him to survive, he's free to attack with these clan callers and not worry about them getting picked off by advantageous blocks. And that leaves all of his bigger creatures back to block.
Yes.
Not that Louis can afford to attack.
It does not look like it now.
Vivian, now at 8.
Reels Forest.
Forest, not what we were hoping for.
And
And we have
Remy
our...
Fittier is your 2024 Winter Set Roulette champion.
Congratulations to Remy. Congratulations to Louis. Congratulations to the whole top 8. It was a great event, and I'm so glad that we were able to bring this format back. I truly love Set Roulette. It's my favorite way to play Magic. It surpassed Even Cube for me. It's just such a fun puzzle. It brings people together in such a great way to like try and solve this big format together in a limited amount of time, and then you get to like prove it in a tournament. And I think am so glad to have Set Roulette back on the Magic scene.
Yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure, and it's been an honor as well to be able to bring this back. And thank you all for supporting it. It was not possible without your support, your signal boosting, and your participation, and just that people are using the Discord to test. We want to see all that activity. Next event will be April 14th with the set reveal on March 30th. 30th.
But stay tuned to the Discord, stay tuned to the Twitter, because between now and then we will be doing quick build challenges here and there. It's a great way to jump in and just explore a format, have fun for a couple hours, hang out with members of the community. And so keep your eye on Twitter. We'll be posting those as we plan them out. So while Set Roulette is going dormant for a couple of months, we will be back with another full event in the spring and plenty of small ways to stay involved between now and then.